something.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is that the traveler in Paimon?
Xavier, what are you doing here?
I was in the general area, and now I'm in this specific area.
We have some questions and thought you might be able to help.
Certainly do. I've researched the furnace here in some depth. If there's anything you want to know, just ask away. Like the back of my hand. Make no mistake, I have been here a good many times. Not only that, but I've met people in Inazuma whose families used to live in Tatarasuna years ago. They said it's all true, the history here. Oh, well, it's a long story, don't you know? The tale of Tatarasuna starts a long time ago. I'm told that its history is one of the most foremost forging and smelting operations in the nation. Goes back around 1,000 years. Still, the furnace has had a couple of serious maintenance issues along the way.
A couple? When exactly?
One was just in the last few years, the other was several hundred years ago. A fun fact, I'm not the first Fontaine tech guy to come and work on it either. There was a guy back then too. They say he was a mechanic who consulted on a technology upgrade. It seems like the technological collaboration between our two nations goes back a long way.
Hey, weren't you gonna ask Xavier something about Tatarasuna?
Oh, I didn't realize you two were here for a history.
Me neither. Paimon doesn't know what's gotten into this one today. Feels like we've been preparing for a history exam or something.
What brought this on? Did you just wake up today with a sudden burning desire for his... Sure, go ahead. A kabuki mono? No, I can't say that I have. I do know the word, Inazuman for those eccentric types who always go around dressed to the nines. Just the sort of person that I'd like to meet, actually. But sadly, I've never had the pleasure, nor have I come across anything to do with a kabuki mono where Tataras... Of course!
Oh, we're leaving? Okay, bye, Xavier.
Oh, you're most welcome. More than happy to help. Farewell.
Looks like you got all the information you're looking for. Sure, but what's up with you today? Keep your smile, Spinal Crocodile. No matter what happens, Paimon will always be there for... Hey, don't... All right, let's head off and go meet Nahida.
Hey, it's them!
Akaba, Sawada, you're still here?
Indeed we are. If you have a moment, we'd love for you to join us once more.
We have time. What do you want to talk?
It's the same topic we discussed last time.
Still looking for more info about Tatarasuna, huh? Should we join?
Unfortunately, we haven't made any real progress. Huh? Oh,
I presume you'll want to read mine as...
Well, what do you think?
Hey, Traveler. Remember how last time Akaba was saying how he wished he could gather more information about all this? Well, we just got back from Inazuma.
What did you find out? Something big?
It's a long story. Basically, we have some...
Wow, so many new...
Well, well. So it all comes down to one man's desire for revenge. Huh. You heard this from a member of the Amanoma clan, you say? Then I guess it must be true. Ugh. So there's no ghost...
This new information actually lends further credence to my hypothesis. Evidently, swordsmiths were seen as having an incredibly prestigious role in society those days.
Yes, okay, point taken, you were right. But that doesn't mean I can't carry on with my novel.
And they're back at it. These guys are really into this.
Oh, so sorry. Look at us. Proud.
You're welcome.
Keep us in the loop if you find out anything else.
Will do. Nahida, we're here! Traveler, Paimon, how have you been? Ugh, where to start? Paimon hasn't had a moment's rest this whole time. That night, we ended up chatting and chatting until suddenly the sun was up. And then he decided he... The ballader? This sounds like some kind of code name. You look troubled. Is there something you need to tell me? Traveler? Hey, what's wrong? You look so upset. That's quite a... So, this puppet known as the ballader erased himself from Irminsul, hoping that he could change the past. But how was he even able to do that? As the Traveler said, he very nearly became Sumeru's deity. Admittedly, I remember it a little differently. Nevertheless, it does make sense. If someone were to successfully erase them... So, you believe this person really existed, and we just don't remember him because... Yes. Theoretically speaking, it is possible to do this. The Traveler comes from a world beyond to that. That's why there's no information about him in Irminsul, and it also explains why any changes to Irminsul wouldn't affect him. So if there's anyone in the world capable of retaining memories from a past that has been rewritten, it's you. It's quite incredible when you think about it. Paimon's having a hard time understanding this balladeer guy's motive. I can only make inferences based on the information we've been given. As for what kind of person he was... Something else worrying you? Something that you can't... It couldn't change the fate of the ones who had died, right? Once the ballader realized he hadn't been betrayed after all, it must have completely changed his view. He couldn't keep hating humans after that. And if he thought there was a chance he could save his old friend, this story makes sense. The ballader tried to achieve godhood with the doctor's help. He was unsuccessful, but retained that power then enabled him to change what was recorded in Irminsul and erase himself, even though he didn't have much strength left. Yeah, it does make... It just feels so hopeless. He gave every... Please wait a moment. I want to check something. Found it. This should be the one. It turns out that I have a strange way... What is it? A record from a personal collection. It was tucked away. You should take a look. Is this a fairy tale? Who wrote it? I authored this record myself. Huh? You wrote a fairy tale that somehow has something to do with the ballader? When combined with the traveler's narrative, it's clear that this story is an allegory. Hold on. So this record survived from the... Yes. Any information about the ballader or the kabuki-mono and other records will have been changed. But I wrote this story in a way that means it was like changing the information in Irminsul changes to... But Irminsul can't change information that was well hidden in advance. I guess I must have written this story as a backup before the ballader... That's incredible! And sending the traveler into Irminsul with the ballader must have been a further precaution. I knew he'd remember everything. This story is abstract enough that it still resonates with the prep, but if we connect all the different pieces together, the true story that emerges is the one he told us, the now erased... There was once a lone monster draped in fox fur. The monster found a family of foxes, joined them, and they became friends. The monster lived with the family day and night, and everyone treated. Once in a while, the monster would take off its fox fur at night and lament to itself as it gazed at its reflection in the water. But the monster soon found solace when another came to live among the foxes who was not their kin. A kitten, carved from the wood of a white tree who had been abandoned by the humans. The kitten too wished to become a fox, but its tail was too slender and it could not grow a coat of richly colored fur. Yet when the other foxes saw this, they spoke words of comfort to the kitten. Even without a tail and fur like ours, furious at this happy resolution, the monster lit a fire on the mountain. The terrified animals panicked as the fire spread. The only way to extinguish the flames was to make a sacrifice. A gray fox stood up and addressed the monster. It said, "You are the cleverest among us. Surely you can help us find a way to solve this." The monster smiled, led the fox toward the fire, and murdered it. The gray fox's heart was turned into a beautiful drop of water, clear. The monster gave the heart of water to the kitten, telling him, "The foxes have decided. You are the one who must be sacrificed. Take this." The fire was extinguished, but the kitten lived. It left that side of... The two promised they would spend their whole lives together, but the little bird did not have long left to live.
It passed away soon after. Never again would it cherish a single creature, nor a single blade of grass that stood on that mountain. The kitten spent the nights wandering aimlessly, gnashing its teeth at the moon. How it wished to swallow the moon and devour the moonlight. If the world could only I will become the new moon, the answer to everything. Then, no one will know that there were once birds.
We solved it!
I remember now. This is not just the ballader story. It is his very own memories. To become a god, he was experimented on and modified countless times. It was brutal torture. This memory was extracted from him by the scholars. Presumably, they kept it to have something to defend themselves with. Creating a deity was just the first step. Some of them wanted to be able to control it. That's why they backed up his memory. I buried it deep inside one of my own dreams, and then hid it inside an allegorical story so that it wouldn't be altered.
It's hard to believe that this person really existed, let alone that he tried to get rid of... Paimon has no memory of him at all. He completely vanished like a puff of...
The ballader agreed to help me look for information about the Descenders, and although he was unsuccessful, before he vanished, he confirmed an important detail, that Conria was where your twin first came into this world. We still don't know how the change to Irminsul will affect the senior ranks of the Fatui, but in all likelihood, they won't even remember their own harbinger.
It sounds like Paimon wouldn't like this guy a whole lot if he was still around. But still, Paimon doesn't like the way it all ended that much.
This is why wisdom alone cannot answer all our questions. We look, we see, and we comprehend, but the question still troubles us. So the answer is not everything. People yearn to find the truth and then conquer the troubles they face. When you give someone the truth, you give them a chance to choose their own destiny. To others looking on, this may seem like a pointless endeavor, but for him, the chance to never forget that even when we walk beneath dark clouds along a road filled with suffering, and that is what you have been doing.
Yeah, Nahita's right. Cheer up. How about we go get something to eat?
Good idea. Paimon, why don't you take him out for a walk?
You got it. Come on, traveler. You need to... Let's go get a snack from one of the stalls in the Grand Bazaar. That'll be sure to lift our spirits. It must be really tough being the only one who remembers all that. But Paimon's always here to help cheer you up.
Take it easy.
We're here! What should we eat first? Hey, are you gonna answer or what? Alright, whatever you want. Well, Paimon will be right here when you figured stuff out. Then we can get something to eat. you figured it? Why'd you jump up all of a
Excuse me, boss. There seems to be a small problem with the last bill. Look, here.
Hey! Hey, wait!
You mean me?
No, not you. That kid! Didn't you see? Little rascal grabbed my last... Look, if you're gonna help out here, you can't keep spacing out, okay? What is it? Work's too boring for you? Or is the...
I wasn't paying close enough attention. Sorry, boss. I think you're right. Maybe it's the city. It's so exciting. It can be hard to focus.
Who's that guy? You know him or something? He's who?
You're a strange one, kiddo. You say you don't want any money for helping out here, and then when I actually give you some work to do, you keep letting yourself... I don't want to take advantage, so I'm happy to pay you what I'd pay anyone else. But if you keep acting like this, pretty soon I won't be able to...
No, please. I mean it. You don't need to pay me anything. I'm just so thankful.
You're welcome, I guess. But I got bigger things to worry about. Look, we're all out of Sunsetias. And I promised the lady down the street I'd...
Leave it to me. I'll find some more.
Stop. I'm gonna level with you, kiddo. I've never met a worker who said they didn't want a wage before. And at first, I got greedy. You don't want money. You don't take days off. And in your free time, all I see you do is wander around, taking in the sights. Are you a drifter or...
That's right, I am. We can talk more about that later. First, let me get those fruits you needed. Sunsetias, was it? I'll be right back.
Hey, what do we do now? Okay, stay out of sight.
Take it easy.
Yeah, this'll do.
Even though you say he's the balladeer, what are we planning on doing? Stealing his Sunsetias? Oh, all right.
This should be enough. Guess I should wash them before... Huh? You two over there. Is there...
He spotted us!
You've been following me all the way from the city. I'd have to be blind not to notice. Have we met before? No, we haven't met. But you know me? I have no recollection.
Are you absolutely
Sorry, but I just can't take your word for it.
a puppet? What makes you think that?
Huh?
You were right. The look...
I guess you do know me after all. That is not something I share with a lot of people. Look, I'm just a wanderer. But seeing as you've gone through all this trouble to track me down, I'm sure whatever it is must be important. Okay, But please let me...
Are you really working for that guy? He said you don't want to...
Yes, I ran into him out in the wilderness during a storm, and he let me take shelter in his cart. In return, I said I'd be his helper for a while.
That's oddly nice.
Let me take these back. Then I'll come with you.
Then let's return to the city.
Take it easy.
Here you go, boss. I'll leave them right here.
Oh, you really went and picked some more. Who are these two?
Something's come up, and they need to borrow me. Sorry, boss. I'm afraid I'll be away from the stall for a while.
I was just about to pay you anyway. Go wherever...
What?
I get it, okay? You just wanted to help me out, to thank me for giving you shelter from the rain that day. Even then... But look, it was pouring down, and there you were, sauntering along without a care in the world, like you had nowhere to be and didn't even care that it was raining. Imagine you were me for a second. It's a little weird, right? Why is this guy traveling during a rainstorm if he's not trying to get somewhere? And why is he taking it? But anyway, taking you in didn't put me out even slightly. You don't owe me a thing for it. Certainly not all this. Your time is valuable. You know.
But I don't... No. Then I suppose this is where we say goodbye. Thank you again for...
Don't mention it, kiddo. I've run into all kinds of characters over the years. I just hope you find your path.
Thank you. All right, done. Thanks for waiting for me. We can go now.
What's wrong? Huh?
Hello. I do apologize.
We found this guy in the street, but he doesn't seem to remember anything.
You say that you are trekking across Teyvat to train yourself. Many other Inazumans who describe themselves in this way call themselves Shugenja. Why do you refer to yourself as a wanderer?
Well, it seems more relevant in my case. To me, it sounds like a plant with no root. But these two claim that they know me, and that I have a hidden past unknown even to myself.
I wouldn't call it the past, but rather... I don't like to rely on using terms like this often, but in your case, it seems that...
Oh, like a past life or something?
Yes, Something far more distant than the past. So far away that you cannot perceive it.
Okay, I have to ask. What was I like in my previous incarnation? Oh, you want to tell me, but you can't bring yourselves to say it. Looks like I didn't have the most wonderful existence in my previous If it's that difficult to talk about, I have no... but I'll be able to handle it. Please.
Is truth something you care a lot about?
Yes.
Then I'll be straight with you. In your previous incarnation, you did many things that... You nearly died because of what other people did. And many died because of you. As a non-human being, you hated gods and humans alike. You drifted from place to place, never able to settle, even where you found status and identity. You adamantly believe... Actions rooted in persistence sometimes bear bitter fruit. Sometimes, you have...
I gave everything I had, but it barely changed history at all.
In terms of the outcome alone.
I don't think I can judge everything I've heard purely in terms of right and wrong. Each choice a person makes belongs to a specific place and time.
That is the nature of truth. If one thing is right, its opposite must be wrong. And yet, dichotomies like this are not enough to explain the world in all of its
It seems like my previous incarnation wasn't the most likable individual.
We're not trying to hurt your feelings or anything, but yeah, we weren't your biggest fans.
If we were enemies, why are you trying to help me find the truth?
This is so frustrating! This guy's supposed to be our arch enemy, but now he's just some random stranger we met on the street! He's got so much to answer for, but we can't make him talk because he doesn't remember anything!
Lesser Lord Kusanali, as the god of wisdom, I trust that everything you...
Yes, it's all true. I can even show you the memories
Please, I want to see them for myself.
Even though it will cause your present self great mental anguish?
I'm just a puppet, with no heart and no name.
Very well.
Wait, shouldn't we go with him? This one's kind of on us for bringing him here.
Don't worry. Whatever danger I might face...
Traveler, could I ask you to supervise him on my behalf?
Oh, good point. Given your,
Understood.
Thank you.
This looks like
Right now, you're in a dream I created using information extracted. These memories will show you the raw truth. But be aware that
sounds like an immersive experience.
You don't need to do this for me. I don't deserve your protection.
We never give up halfway. Well, we had to once, but that was your doing.
All right.
Wanderer, this is the Shake Pavilion. In your ballader incarnation, this is where the Electro Archon placed you after your creation. You had a great many memories.
Is that because this is
You could say that.
I hear
This place is huge. I can't believe the landslide didn't fill it in. I wonder who built it. The Crystal Marrow Miners? No, there's no way. Look at this exquisite construction work, and so well preserved, too. There's someone passed out on the ground. You're awake. What happened? How'd you get stuck here? Not a scratch.
This man is Katsuragi, deputy to Torichio's adopted son, Bikoshi Nagamasa. He found the ballader in Shake Pavilion and took him back to Tatarasu.
And the rest is history. Well, it used to be.
In the original version of events, Katsuragi was ultimately killed by Nagamasa.
Let me get you out of here. Our people are...
During the Tatarasuna incident, Niwa was murdered by the doctor, disguised as a mechanic. The ballader, then known as the Kabukimono, disappeared not long after. As the second in command at Tatarasuna, responsibility for what had happened fell to Mikoshi Nagamasa. But Katsuragi had sworn lifelong loyalty to Nagamasa after the latter had once saved his life. At Katsuragi's insistence, Nagamasa killed him to put an end to the
Katsuragi seems like he was a good guy.
He looks like a warrior, but he has a kind face. Why couldn't he live a long and happy life?
Take it easy.
Nagamasa, I found this young guy in a cave sealed off by a landslide. He doesn't remember his name. Well, we need to call you something. I hear the workers are calling you the Kabuki Mono.
That's fine with me.
Katsuragi, report to Niwa. Tell him we have someone new joining us.
Time to go.
Surely enough to convince anyone to become a wanderer.
Huh? What are we doing back here?
Whoa, this is where you were born? It's pretty, but there's nobody here.
I was abandoned, like you. I lived here for a while at first, but there's nothing for us here.
Okay. I heard my mom and dad used to make swords, but the factory manager died, and then my dad got sick. He kept coughing all the time, just like me.
But you can't. You
Yup, we're family now. This child didn't have a name. Or rather, the ballader didn't know what to call him. His father died After his mother died, the child stayed in their straw hut alone. Some of the neighbors, after leaving Tatarasuna, the ballader ran into this child who didn't have a name, just like him.
What happened to the child?
He died from his illness while he was still very young. The ballader came home one day and found that he had stopped breathing.
Hey! What's wrong? Say something! You promised me we could be family! You're no different from Niwa and all the others.
The voices have gone. And
Let's keep going.
You really do realize you're blocking my path.
I come not to obstruct you. I've been waiting. What you are truly is a weapon. One that could be wielded with an iron will. Use this first. You could continue to drift aimlessly.
Are you trying to win me over?
Fated rebellion has begun. Why not take your place at the banquet and join those who shall feast?
Busted.
This isn't good.
Well met.
No excuse for slacking!
One with wind and cloud.
Not breaking a sweat!
One with nature.
They let you fly!
Illusion shattered.
This is my duty. At an end.
This place is dark.
Paimon knows this place. It's the Delusion Factory in Inazuma.
In the original version of events, the Traveler once encountered the ballader here.
Such a creepy atmosphere. And so Hey, look over there!
Well, well, my fair lady. Is this rundown factory and these incompetent fools all for me? Wow. You shouldn't have.
What do you have to gain from belittling your subordinates? You might not want to admit it, but you are a part of this plan. Perhaps you find fighting in the abyss to be a more meaningful use of your time? Oh, but of course, even this pales in comparison to being experimented on.
What a sharp... Funny how negotiating never seems to be your strong suit. For the task ahead, I suggest you keep your true feelings to yourself.
Save your breath. I know what I have to do.
I'm sure you think so, but I still think you need to hear it. Don't start thinking you're invincible, and don't let your emotions get in the way.
Surely you're not worried about me.
I just can't have you getting in my way. You and Child never fail to find ways to complicate things.
I'm merely lighting a little fire in this chaotic nation. But you, being tossed out like trash, must make you want to destroy it completely. Do you remember the last time you were here? That was a lot of swordsmiths you killed. I'm sure the descendants of the Raiden Gokaden are still... Look at you. Oh, don't get so sentimental. Now, give that poor little tongue of yours a rest, and by then, see you at the victory feast.
Poor little tongue? She's playing with Forget it. Someone might find me here any minute now. I should prepare to give them a warning.
The plot does not end here. There is more of this story to come.
Yes.
Why are you staring at me in silence? Can't you think of a nicer way to express yourself?
I'm under no obligation to be nice to you. Besides, I thought nothing mattered to you except results in your own interests. Isn't that right, witch?
Muddle-headed puppet. You're only number 6 because you can take more abuse than other humans. Do you really count that as an asset?
You're about as much fun to be around as a raging inferno. But before we murder each other, it'd be best if we finish our duties.
Make yourself a room!
Things are about to get dicey.
Looks like we've arrived in Sumeru. Is that?
Considering that Amorta's sage, Nafis, refused to join this project, I'll take part in the experiment in his place.
Welcome. I look forward to a fruitful collaboration.
When do we start?
You seem impatient. You should know that becoming a god is far from a trivial affair.
The biological transformation is a lengthy process. As such, I too would recommend that we commence as soon as possible. In the event that a successful connection is established, his body will become permanently bound.
Nothing worse than what I've been through before then, Doctor.
You were the most resilient test subject I ever came across. Thanks to you, I was able to garner a great... Alas, after that, you were under orders to remain in the abyss. We barely saw each other, and it became difficult to further refine the knowledge I had gained.
That was gracefully worded. Ever wonder what they think if they knew that nothing matters to you, apart from your crazy...
I suggest you speak to me in a more respectful tone, Scaramouche. The mere fact of your utility does not make you indestructible.
The doctor again? That was
That person gives off a very sinister energy.
It's normal for him to give you the creeps. He scares the bejeebers.
Let's move on.
You're a god. Do you think I'm evil?
If you accept that he is you, just as you are you, then yes, you are evil.
In your eyes, are there any differences between...
Do you think there are any differences between your present self and your previous and future incarnate? Whoever has tasted the joys and sorrows of life in the human realm is human. Whoever has loved and lost, cried with grief, howled with rage at the tragedy of...
I've seen enough of my past. If possible, I'd like to reclaim the sins that are mine to bear. No matter the consequences, I won't run from blame or punishment. Whatever I am due, can you return my memories to me?
Huh? But won't that mean you'll lose your...
I've always believed that human lives follow a set of rules, with each person being a collection of... As a puppet living in a human world, my life is subject to the...
Regaining your memories means reverting completely to your previous incarnation. Are you sure you wanted to...
I've lived with the void in my chest my whole life. My creator didn't need me. And ever since I awoke, I've just drifted from one place to the next. But then I met you. And I finally realized that reclaiming my missing sins might be my one opportunity to become my true... I've always felt I have an innate tendency to yearn for something more, in a way that goes deeper than for most people. But for all my soul-searching as a Shugenja, I've never fully understood it. Looking at it now, so I beg you, grant me this opportunity to gain...
Very well. Since your mind is made up, I will return to you that which is yours. You have made your decision. Now, take this.
So, set him free.
A puppet? What's he doing here?
It's...
You're a human as far as I'm concerned.
Everyone's here. Wonderful.
What a fine blade. Nagamasa will be thrilled.
This is... my...
Is he alright? No way! Hey! Are you done yet?
All worthless dross will be purged. That's why... this won't be the end!
Balladeer?
Die. This is trying my patience.
Have you got all your memories back now?
Wind rises. Ah! Gotcha! Imbecile! Get out of my sight.
It disappeared.
What did you expect? I'd never lose to that.
There's the tone of voice again. You're definitely... Wait! But it was you inside that thing, too! What have you got to be...
Sorry. I'm harsh on myself and everyone else. Just the way I am. You sound like you're concerned about me, but don't worry. Thanks to you, even if I didn't change a thing...
The memory recovery seems to have been a success. This dream...
Come on.
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer?
It feels like we just went on...
You don't like being addressed by that name?
It's fine. But I was just thinking, I should probably change it. After learning about everything the doctor did, there's no way I can carry on using it. I'm not planning on returning to the Fatui. And they wouldn't take me back anyway. Recent events will have affected a lot of people. And they might not even remember who the Sixth is.
So, you're quitting the Fatui for good?
It's like you said, Lesser Lord Kusanali. Everything may look futile, but it wasn't completely meaningless.
But that doesn't mean your own past has disappeared.
Of course.
And your main goal, for which you gave up everything you had, you weren't able to achieve it. I hope you can... Changing the world, changing the past, what you were looking for is complete annihilation. But this is just a fantasy. Even if the balladeer is removed from existence.
Indeed.
Do you regret doing all that when you've gotten so little and...
Even if I'm completely worthless, there's nothing in the world... Lesser Lord Kusanali, you purposely left that information in Irminsul, didn't...
Yes, and I took pains to make sure that you'd acquired...
Why would you go to such lengths? You trying to win me over too?
In all honesty, your past experiences have made you a useful asset to Sumeru and to me. Winning you over was indeed but before that, I wanted to tell you the truth about your past. If all I wanted to do was use you, then I'd be no different from the doctor.
Very clever.
I guess you could say that's one of my virtues.
Utility to others is what gives me worth. So if embracing my sins is what it takes to make me useful again? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Sorry if I have a slightly different perspective on things, but I don't feel like I've been duped. The wisest leaders are
I'm glad you're able to think of it, Traveler. In the future, I'll continue to search Irminsul more deeply, including the beginning of your twins' journey recorded in Irminsul. What exactly happened before and after that point? I want to know as well. I will try.
Traveler. After I dove into the information torrent in Irminsul, why did you go to Inazuma? So that's how you found out whose fate had changed. Well, whatever your reasons, you did me a favor, and I'll do everything I can to pay it back. Borrowing and returning are the only real relationships between individuals.
That's not true. A relationship between two people is not simply a ledger that can be I think deep down you realize this. People who show up in your life don't just evaporate like water drops and leave nothing behind. Some things in this world can never be brought back. And everything that you feel is real and lasting. To be human is to live with imperfections.
But humans can't live without...
You understand what pain is perfectly well, even without a heart. The past is set in stone, but you can keep moving on. And the long...
Sounds like you've got a future planned out for me.
Everything's ended up being
Then I guess I'll be helping you from behind the scenes from now on.
I'm glad that you've accepted our proposal.
Ooh! Paimon wants to pick an ugly nick.
Why?
Because Paimon still does.
Then I hope we don't...
A name is life's first gift. You didn't say it out loud. The Traveler and Paimon have helped you a lot. If you can't decide on a new name, maybe...
No! Paimon only does nicknames. If it's a serious name you're after, it's a...
Have you... Oh, alright.
There. Now...
What about a nickname?
Still thinking. Stop!
Take your time. I don't need to see you again. Everyone who manipulated me and made me suffer will have to...
You mean the Fatu...
The doctor.
Now that your stance has changed, I believe your future path...
One more thing. There are still some descendants of the Raiden Gokuden living in Inazuma. Some of them know. Well, I don't plan to leave Sumeru for the time being. If you see them in Inazuma, please tell them that I was the one responsible for... Even though the events have been erased from the world.
I see.
Huh?
It's fine. Let them stab their blades into my chest if they so desire. Alright. Goodbye, wise deity. And you too.
He's gone.
What he went through today would have been like living...
Yeah, true. But even so we can finally go eat?
Thank you both.